with MagnaWave office hours for this Tuesday morning, the 31st of March. It's always interesting to come to you on these Tuesday mornings. We're here to talk about anything you may want to discuss with regard to health hacking with MagnaWave and PEMF, pulse electromagnetic field therapy, whether your questions deal with machines, with training, with protocols, with just basic knowledge and interest that you'd like to know more about. We're here to answer those questions. We're broadcasting today on Facebook Live, LinkedIn, YouTube, and we're on the Castbox app, the radio type of app. Chris will put that link up if you'd like to facilitate that as well. Emily's with us on Castbox and Hazel's with us, and we've got folks joining us so far on the Facebook, LinkedIn, MagnaWave pages. And we're also available for those of you who might want to watch through our website on MagnaWave. Good morning, Hazel. You can do that as well. Chris will also put that link up so you can go straight to the MagnaWave site and watch the program there. So again, here we are right in the middle of COVID-19, and there's a million questions about that, and that I'm happy to maybe address with you. We've been talking with, which I'll share, a doctor who has used PEMF in Mexico during the H1N1 panic or flu epidemic or whatever it was back in 2008, 2009, and how he's used it. Dr. Amanda has been writing some articles about the usage of it. I talked with a doctor yesterday about some things that they're doing in China using PEMF to help facilitate whatever medicines they're using to get a better result with a particular medicine. So there's a lot of things going on there, and it's interesting how PEMF has been applied, and which we can talk about the basis of that and things that we know, things that we've talked about for years, and done some other research as with regard to other things that you might do to protect yourself and to help others who are dealing with the flu in general or with coronavirus, whatever it may be. So if you have any questions to that regard, why don't you send me a text, or you can put them in the stream that you're watching or listening to, and I'd be happy to address those questions. With that said, Friday at 2 o'clock here on Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube, Dr. Amanda Myers will be joining Elaine for a webinar dealing with these specific topics as well. So if you have questions for Dr. Amanda, you can message them to MagnaWave through the Facebook page, or you can send an email to info@magnawavepemf.com, and we will certainly have a look at your questions and present them to Dr. Amanda and get her response and go from there. So a lot of things going on. We certainly want to, our goal at this time for those of you who are practitioners is to certainly help you in any way we can. We're looking at adding some additional supplementary type of products that you could sell or market to your particular clients to help them with their health and wellness. In addition to the HydroWave and the C60, we want to get deeper into the education of C60 and HydroWave and how it can be beneficial to you. We have basically a couple other things that are going, and this is very speculative at this point, but we've come across a source for alcohol-based CDC approved hand sanitizer. The challenge has been finding containers to put this hand sanitizer in, or sanitizer to make it available to our practitioners for their use, certainly, and for their marketing to their customers and friends and doctors, whatever the situation may be. The hospitals are experiencing a real problem getting enough sanitizer around the country. And so we're trying to do our part since we found this and been able to work forward with that. And we're working this morning. I've already had a couple of meetings this morning with the container folks to have containers, the number one that we're already using for some of our products, to maybe be facilitating this type of service to our practitioners and our customers. So there's a lot of things going on, and again, we'll be happy to answer those questions and pursue that as we go along. So share this broadcast with your friends so they can come on, join us, and ask their questions again if they will, and we'd be happy to talk to them. If you would like to talk with me, send me a text to 502-599-9722. 502-599-9722. It's on the screen. I will get your text, and then I will phone you back, and we can have a conversation as well at that point. And I got someone who wants to visit with me on the phone on Castbox, so we'll bring them in and see what's going on here. Let's see. Here we go. Let's see, and they're going to be able to come in. Support group call. Let's see. Well, should be able to have them join us. Don't know why that's not happening. Well, maybe I'll get the message again, and I can bring them into the broadcast, and they can talk with us. And you can do that on Castbox. You can come into Castbox and request to talk, and I can click it. We can have a conversation right there without you having to send the text. But on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn, you need to send the text, and I can call you back, and we can have our conversation. I've been doing some research this week and talking with various people. And as you know, last week, Dr. Marty was talking about his use of intravenous vitamin C for the health and wellness and cancer in dogs and that type of thing. And the research I've found, the doctors that I've read their work and talked to some doctors, is intravenous vitamin C is very beneficial, or has been found to be very beneficial for influenza and types of situations. Whether or not the tablet vitamin C is effective, but certainly you could be taking, you as a practitioner or an individual looking to support your health, take massive amounts of vitamin C. And they talk about 10,000 milligrams, I believe, of vitamin D3 on a daily basis, or a couple of times a day. And so we'll try to get some more information about that. But all of that is to help your immune system, to strengthen your immune system. And as we know, that's what the MagnaWave does, is it helps your blood flow, helps your blood oxygenation, helps your cells be healthier, allows your immune system to be stronger, more viable, to do what it's supposed to do and what you want it to do to better protect your health and your well-being. And as Dr. Amanda will go into it, we've found, or that a lot of people are experiencing, that what the PEMF does, has been shown to do with these types of viruses, it doesn't necessarily kill the virus, it won't stop it from moving, but what it does do is it kind of disorients it. It disrupts the growth of the virus and how it goes on, which basically slows it down, and then it allows the body to better heal itself in that type of situation, to allow the tissue to do that. So we're finding that PEMF will disrupt the virus and can help, hopefully help you, or help the client move towards health in a faster fashion, utilizing PEMF to enhance the other medications they're taking. That's the thing that folks are doing, and we're experiencing that as well. We've well known for a long time that utilizing PEMF with other medication enhances the result or the effect of that particular medication or nutrients that you might be taking or an animal might be taking for whatever the situation may be. So that's what we're finding. That's what the research is kind of going to, that people are doing. And so we're excited about that. And as a practitioner, that certainly gives you an opportunity. And certainly we want to do anything we can do to support you as practitioners. And Elaine talked in her webinar last Friday about the capability, if someone doesn't want you to come to their farm and they're very concerned about that, you can clean your machine, label it as clean, take it to somebody's farm, let them rent it from you for 3 or 4 hours, and take care of their horses or their small animals or themselves, whatever the situation may be. You can instruct them how to do it over the phone, you can, or video, or whatever it is, and allow people to utilize your equipment to help their health and well-being, which opens up really a whole scope. It brings me to a story. Years ago, when I first started, and I was traveling around the country in our RV, going to every horse show, every chiropractic show, any place I could do to get people to let me show them what this equipment would do, and do demos for them, and treat their animals, or treat their horses, or treat them. I was in Oklahoma, and we were in Tulsa, I believe, at this particular time when I had this awakening, if you will. But the veterinarians there had machines, and they were renting the machines to their clients by the minute. And so they'd rent it to XYZ farm for the morning, and they'd treat however many horses they wanted, and then they'd pay the vet $2 a minute or whatever. I think it was $2 to $3 a minute at the time. And so at that time, I was on the showgrounds treating animals for $100, $125 a horse. So you figure that out. It's $2 or $3 a minute, depending how long you're treating. And I discovered, gee, I'm working, all day long treating X amount of horses, and the vet rents the machine to somebody, tells them how to do it, lets them treat their own horses, and gets paid while he's off, or the vet's off, he or she's off doing something else. And so that opportunity that they used that was beneficial for them is available to all of us today. There are ways to utilize your equipment to better facilitate the needs of your customers in this time. And so when you think about that, something that I've started doing, of course, my age is the optimum age for people that were the highest risk factor, I would believe. Now, we all know that the people that are really struggling with this virus are those who have pre-existing conditions. They have lung problems. They've had diabetes, serious diabetes, whatever it may be, COPD. They've had a lot of problems, and they get this, and it becomes respiratory, and it really shuts them down. They go on a ventilator, as Governor Cuomo was pointing out. The longer someone's on a ventilator, the harder it is to get them to come off of a ventilator, and a lot of times they don't successfully. And so those types of situations. So those who are predisposed to potentially having problems with this need to be more careful, need to watch out where they're going and what they're doing. But those who don't have those situations certainly need to be careful, and we want to do our part to keep it, or they want to do, or you want to do your part to keep it from spreading as best as possible. But those who experience that don't have the devastation that those with pre-existing conditions do. But there are ways to facilitate that and to help take care of those folks. What I'm doing is, just as a precaution, because I've studied it, I've seen what folks are doing, the hypothalamus, the thyroid area, I'm treating that because that's where all of the hormones of the body and everything comes from, and we want to again, help the immune system. So I'll treat this area. I'm also treating my lungs. As you know, I have a routine overnight. I use the B2 unit where I sleep on it, and I'll sleep to treat my head and my brain to keep everything as good as I can there. And I treat my prostate area because, as you know, I had some issues with prostate a few years ago, now in year 4 and of being good. And so I use it for that. And so I'm using this now. I'm using and I'll lay on it on my shoulders and lung area to best treat my lungs. Now, doctors have talked about, Dr. Pollack has talked about that the strength of the unit is important. A lot of units that are dealing in the 35 to 50 Gauss type of delivery, as in his way of putting it, are not strong enough to really facilitate the lungs and the reoxygenation and that type of stuff that you want. So when you get up into 500 Gauss, 700 Gauss, 1,000 Gauss, whatever, even stronger machines that can be regulated, is where you're getting the intensity, as some of these doctors point out and talk to actually help move the fluid in the lungs, help the lungs be healthier, or the respiratory system be healthier, to get the result that you're looking for. So those are important. So that's what I'm doing. And so I'm sleeping with this particular unit, and I'm treating now my chest area, and from the back and from the front, as I rest through the evening. And what I do, I don't know what you do, but some people go to sleep and sleep all night long. I'll sleep in 3 or 4 hour spurts, kind of wake up, drink a little water, go to the restroom, whatever the situation be. I move my mat. I start on my head, and then I'll move to my shoulders, and then I move to my prostate area, my buttocks, and treat that area. I can also move down to my knees or my feet, however I want to do it throughout the evening. So I keep threatening to do a time-lapse video so I can see this, but I don't think you want to see that. We can just talk about it. Maybe we'll do an animated video. But at any rate, that's what I'm doing, and that's the important thing that you can make available to your customers, whether that's once a week, they do it twice a week, whatever they may want to do. So there's a lot of ways to reach out and do that. We're doing some looking. Our factory in California has been shut down now for a week. The factory in Indiana has been able to continue doing some work. So there's inventory in both places. We're looking at ways to have machines available for practitioners who maybe want to rent the machine to a customer for a week or for a month, or somebody who's dealing with situations with their animals or themselves who needs some support, that there's ways to do that. We're going to innovate this as best we can to help it satisfy what the customer needs and what the practitioners need to help support their business during this period of time. And that's through a lot of different ways. If you'd like to talk about that, send me a text. I'd be happy to talk to you. If you want to, let me see what the comments. Oh, there are a bunch of comments here that I've not been looking at. So let me come back up here to the top and see what we have. There's Castbox. Amanda, hello, good morning. You can watch, office hours. Good morning, Kathy. Beverly's with us. Bridget's with us. Maureen's with us. A lot of folks are here. We certainly appreciate that. Tim's with us this morning. Good morning, Carrie. Catherine, let's see. Let me see if we got a question here. John, is there a chance a PEMF could make a condition such as infections worse? Josh over at the other company ended up in the hospital with pneumonia last year after having the flu. He was using the PEMF to recover. You know, and there have been conversations about that in the past with regard to in what we did in animals originally. If there was an infection, we would wait till the antibiotics were delivered, and then we would work. What people are finding with what the doctors that I'm talking to that were, I can read the quote from the doctor in Mexico that treated the H1N1 flu back in 2008 and 2009. My experience has been when I've experienced a virus and I treat myself, it pushes me through the virus more rapidly. Basically allowing me to heal more rapidly or to become healthy more rapidly. It doesn't really kill the virus. I had a conversation with a competing practitioner yesterday who posted some stuff that was wrong about what PEMF will do to the virus. And I basically contacted them and said, you need not say that because you're making claims that we cannot support. But to better answer your question, that's what we have found. Now, if someone has a condition and they have some pre-existing conditions, when Josh, as you're talking about with a competing company, had the flu and he treated himself, and all of a sudden, if he had pre-existing conditions and it pushed him into a state, that wasn't there, and he had to go to the hospital, you don't know what other things were there, what else was going on at the time. What we're seeing today, John, with people that are being treated around the world and people that are using it, and what Dr. Pollack talks about, how if you use it can help your congestive system, can help things go along. There is some potential value there. Certainly it needs to be looked at further in depth. And I think that might come from this. There might be a way with all this going on and people utilizing whatever they can do to boost their immune system. We might really be able to get some exploratory, some studies accomplished and taken care of that can help us go down this road and better deal with it and help the situation along. I can't certainly talk about one instance. Everybody is different. And certainly what I've always said, if you're treating yourself 3 or 4 days in a row and you're getting worse, then there's something else going on. There's an underlying factor that is contributing to what you're doing, and you need to get checked. And so you don't want to do that. You don't want to say that you can use this and vitamin C and vitamin D3 and this and that and MagnaWave or whatever it is and get down the road and have no problem. If you're not getting better with the integrative therapies that you're using, and you are talking to your doctor, you certainly need to talk to your doctor. And that's a critical function. All we're trying to do is to help you have potentially help your immune system, help your blood flow, help your oxygenation, that in a situation that your body can control itself, that should be beneficial to help, just as vitamin C, vitamin D3, what the other doctors are recommending for people to do. And it's certainly something that you need to take into consideration as you look at these situations. But as I've always maintained, if you're treating yourself 3 or 4 days, 5 days in a row, and you're not improving, your animal is not improving or seeing some relief, then there's something else going on. Time to go to see somebody who can apply more knowledge, more depth, and help and follow the situation along. Hope that helps, John. Great question. Thanks for asking. Hi, Dion. Dawn's with us. Kim's with us. Makes sense. He's pretty unhealthy. Well, if somebody's unhealthy, you got to deal with that. It goes back to the situation doctors have always said. You can help yourself, but if you don't exercise at all, you're not helping the problem at all either. So you need to be run full circle in this type situation. It would be nice if someone spent 100 million studying PEMF. That would be nice, and we'd love to see something like that happen. We are doing what we can. As you know, we've got a study that's been going on now at the University of Colorado dealing with brain concussion type injuries and brain health. We're talking with Dr. Pelosi about using some equipment in his specialized gynecological plastic surgery practices to get some dialogue and to better substantiate what's going on. Maybe not a full study, but at least a precursor to a study, and then be able to move forward. And certainly we have our studies ongoing now at the University Henry Ford Hospital in Detroit and the Veterans Hospital in Los Angeles on bed sores and open wound healing. And as you know, we've done 3 or 4 different studies in Cuba utilizing our equipment, specifically high voltage PEMF equipment. And those studies are available on our website under research. You can go see those. But you're right, John, if somebody could spend the money, more money to do it. And there are things that as we go along, it's becoming more mainstream all the time. People are understanding how it can be used and what's going on. I'll share with you Dr. Valles Aguilar, Dr. Manuel Valles Aguilar. He's a recognized specialist in ozone and stem cells in Mexico and Spain. And he talks about in 2009 in Mexico, we had a major coronavirus epidemic called H1N1. And he had many patients with the epidemic. He put them on PEMF, our style of treatment and I put them on PEMF treatments and in some on different additional simple medications, supplements and so forth. He had no patient advanced to pneumonia and had no casualties of his patients, which he has quoted, put in writing for us, and his website. I should get his website. Chris, you may have that. If you can put his website up, perhaps some people can go there and see what he has done. And we're working to get an interview with him, to get him on one of our broadcasts live. But this is what he has done. This is what and what Dr. Pollack, as I pointed out, has noted in some of his research, that he has found that it can help the pulmonary system to be clear, help get the congestion into the lymphatic system, help your lungs be more viable to be able to do their job. Certainly that would be something that anyone who is susceptible to the flu at this point do to keep their lungs and their body in good shape from that type of situation. Certainly would be something to consider. In these situations. So that's what people are talking about and experiencing. Let's see. Yeah, we hope to get that interview. We do have the quote and his comments. We're certainly going to put that information up. And then again, Elaine is talking Friday at 2:30 with Dr. Amanda Myers, and she's going to go more into what it does to the body, to the inflammation reactions in the body. And that's what it's all about. The problem in the lungs with pneumonia is inflammation, constriction, all of that going on, congestion, fluid buildup. Well, if we keep that ahead of the game, we can hopefully get somebody through that. But again, if they've got serious conditions and things that really debilitate that, then you got to deal with each case individually. And so health and well-being is where we're coming from, and to help the body potentially be healthier, to better heal itself and work its way through various situations. 502-599-9722. I'd be happy to discuss and answer any questions that you may have, whether they be on Castbox, Facebook. Let's see if there's anything up here on Restream, if there's anything any different. Nope, looks like we're on the same type of screen here. Well, let's see, is this a question? Okay, Yeah, thanks for being with us, everybody. If you have questions, please put them up there and we can talk about them. There are a couple of things that came up that I do believe I can. Do you have any videos that address ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, specifically, and what PEMF can do for people with ALS? We don't have any videos as such that would deal with that type of situation. We do know that people when you deal with Parkinson's and MS and various types of things, that they've seen a reduction in symptoms. They've seen generalized comfort and pain relief that are related to those types of indications, again, by the oxygenation, the improved blood flow. So there's been a lot of conversations about how various people with various stages of diseases and conditions have found comfort utilizing this type of therapy. Others have seen virtually their symptoms go away in some of these instances. I don't know when it talks about ALS. Someone listening from our practitioner group or somebody that's with us may have had some more direct result with that, but certainly client willing to try it. You're not going to do anything that's going to hurt the situation typically. And so if you can help make them more comfortable, that would be, people like to be more comfortable. They like to have less pain and problems with no matter what their situation, no matter what they're experiencing. So with regard to ALS, nothing specific, but we'll do some looking to see what we can find out. Let's see. A client talks about riding a horse with OCD in one stifle, has not had surgery. Would enough extensive MagnaWave in conjunction with injections help to avoid the surgery? The client has the SIMI-3. Have somebody that's asking to come in. The OCD effects in the joints affects the ligaments and the growth of the bone, and certainly good blood flow to the area, good oxygenation to the area, good supplementation. There are some great supplements for horses on the market. OCD is the name of one of them, OCD pellets that you put into the feed, and they've seen good results there. So using the two of them in harmony can maybe be beneficial to helping the ligaments that are there be healthier, grow normally, and that type of thing. So could MagnaWave certainly help that situation? We found over the years that the blood flow and the circulation and the oxygenation has been beneficial to those situations, injections or supplementation, whatever someone may be using. Now let's see if I can go support group call. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing wrong to get that to go. I got to figure this out. I got to figure out Castbox and be able to talk with somebody when I've done it and it goes away. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Call, support group call. Yes. Where's the call? Emily's with us. Well, if you'll request again, I'll try to punch it immediately and get you on the line and have part of the conversation with you. Perhaps Emily or Chris, if you're on, Emily's on Castbox, click to join in. Let's see what we need to do to make that work. And we'll see if we can get that to come through. If Emily's can do that, we'll do this. Okay, here it is. Click to join. Are you there? Emily's waiting. There it is. Let's see. Come on. Oh. Hello, Emily.
Hello.
Hey, we got it working.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. So you came up. When the call-in came, you were there, and I was able to connect with you. Thank you very much. I see what we need to do. Maybe whoever's on there will call us back. How are you this morning?
I am fantastic. Enjoying office hours.
There you go. Emily is one of our fantastic employees at MagnaWave. She handles our social media and communicating with folks through social media, and she does a fantastic job. So Emily, thank you, and thank you for helping me out this morning.
No problem.
Okay, we'll talk to you later.
All right, bye, Pat.
Bye-bye. So there you go. I think now I've got that figured out, how we can do that. So I just need to get to the phone. I get a little icon down here that lights up that the phone, somebody wants to talk. I need to get to that more rapidly to be able to visit with them. So there you go. Thanks, Emily, for helping us out. If you have questions for Elaine and Dr. Myers when they're going to be on Friday, send them through Messenger, send them through email to Elaine at MagnaWavePMF.com. And she'll get the questions, be able to queue them up, and so she can have this conversation with Dr. Amanda on Friday. So we're looking forward to that. There's a phone call coming in. Need to talk to him later. Let's see. Recommendations using the machine to help with infertility in humans. Elaine, if you're listening, give me a shout, and we can discuss that. We have had people that have used MagnaWave, and they've had difficulty with pregnancy and the whole 9 yards, and they've had some success. And again, it comes down from the standpoint of just trying to make the body healthier, to make things flow more available, and that type of thing. So that's a conversation that we do. We have had some. We can't make any claims. We don't know, but we have had people who have utilized the therapy and achieved the results that they were looking for. I do know that over the years we have worked with some fertility experts in the equine world to better facilitate the ovaries and the whole situation of equine fertility, and have seen some success. And certainly more research is warranted, and we'd like to go that way. If anybody has had any experience there, give me a hit here or send me a text. We'll talk and go from there. But we have seen some interesting situations with regard to infertility and utilizing PEMF to work and support that type of situation for people to have. So if you have some questions, send me, connect with me, and we'd be happy to get onto it. Let me see if there's anything else. Oh, here we go. I was hospitalized a couple years ago with pneumonia, and definitely don't want to do that again. Anytime I feel any type of congestion or sinus issues, I use my MagnaWave Soul, and the symptoms are gone or minimalized. And that's for sure. And I've done that when I've had sinus situations. And they talk about that. Doctors that I've talked to and researched with or done some research types of conversations is that when you talk about the flu or you talk about the coronavirus, one of the first places it tries to go is into the sinuses. And so to keep your sinuses clear, to do one thing that they've talked about is heat. And you'll find this very interesting. The doctor Alvarez in Mexico, one of the things he did is he would put people in infrared saunas and to get very much heat, and they'd be breathing the heat, and that would help clear them and help protect things. One of the things that he did for people that did not have a sauna, they did not have access to the heat, is they would take a hairdryer and they would turn it on, put it on high. They'd kind of muzzle down the end if they could, but then they would, for short periods of time, they would breathe, bring in that heat from the hairdryer into their nostrils and that type of thing. And they do that 2 or 3 times a day to bring that heat into the body. The virus does not like the heat. That's one thing that we've talked about for those of us who are in the South at this point in time, is that the heat, if you're outside or get the heat, is certainly helps preclude and fight off that type of situation. But that's what the doctor did in Mexico when people didn't have access to heat therapy or saunas and that type of thing. And I wanted to say that, and I'm glad that conversation kind of came up. But that's one of the, again, we're not saying that that's going to do anything, but if you want to get some heat into your system, into your nostrils, into your sinuses, that'd be an easy way to do it. And other people did it is they put a stove, boil some water and inhale the fumes from the water. Some people have used, let me take care of this. Damien, I'll call you back in just a few minutes. And so that's another way, is to get some heat into the body, into the system, to potentially be sinus clearing. It's said that these viruses don't like the heat, and the heat's one of the things that kind of controls them or maybe makes them less vulnerable. I don't want to say it kills them, but it certainly precludes to that type of situation. So there's a couple of thoughts. If you know somebody who's experiencing this, maybe they can do that. If they don't have a sauna, then certainly a lot of people don't have sauna. The infrared saunas, they're not expensive. You can buy those little tent infrared saunas for a couple of $100, and someone can have and utilize to, again, help keep themselves in a more healthy state during this time as we're going on. A lot of folks with us this morning on Castbox. We're certainly glad about that. Let's see. Any positive effects of PEMF for eye cataracts? There have been people who have used PEMF along with other things. There have been people that have used C60 in pretty massive dosages for their macular degeneration. Certainly cataracts are a buildup on the eye, circulation issues. Could just thinking about circulation and trying to retard situations or keep things from developing in that type of situation? Certainly something to consider. Are there studies that I'm aware of? You might Google cataracts and PEMF, and you'll find studies from all over the world. If there's studies that do address that, go to the AOPP, PEMFprofessionals.com. There's hundreds of studies there at your disposal to be able to reference. I would go there and search cataracts, PEMF, and see what is done. There have been thousands of studies. Again, you got to remember that PEMF around the world is more of a mainline type of therapy that's more addressed and utilized. In the United States, back when the AMA separated massage and acupuncture and chiropractic and electromedicine from the practice of normal medicine, it's been subdued and now coming back. As you know, there are several devices today in the PEMF world that are FDA cleared, FDA approved for ADD, for autism, for TMJ, for glioblastoma brain tumors, for non-union fractures, for spinal healing and of spinal surgery that they're trying to get it to heal up. A lot of different devices are FDA approved in the PEMF world. And more and more are going to be coming as it becomes more understood and it becomes more streamlined or mainstream in the United States. Again, in other parts of the world, that's where the doctors in Mexico and Cuba and Europe, they're using it, they're more familiar with it, and they've adapted it into more of their day-to-day practices. People, let me just be clear, people will, for example, the TMS machine, transmagnetic stimulation, that's what they call it. They don't call it PEMF. They call it transmagnetic transmagnetic. And so they use it in that type of thing. That's their description. So you go search PEMF, you may not find it. But if you know where they are and you find them in that perspective, they're cutting the grass out here. So you may hear the blower going. I apologize for that if it's interrupting us. But so transmagnetic stimulation is called TMS. It's PEMF. You can go look at a lot of these different devices, and as you get into the research and what they've done, you'll find what it is and how it is done. And they do that. Companies do that to qualify their device, keep it special to them, and those types of situations. So that's what's going on. But all the time, we're seeing more and more adaptation. Years ago, doctors would not even talk about PEMF in relation to chemotherapy. Today, around the world, and there are doctors in the United States that are using PEMF either before, during, or after chemotherapy to help nurture that and maybe help it do its job more efficiently. And so you're seeing those types of situations growing. And so it's an exciting time. And I've said this before, when I started dragging this box around back in 2006 and doing PEMF in 2002, I was crazy. I mean, I may have been crazy, but people really thought I was crazy. What's that crazy guy doing, Dr. Voodoo, or whatever you want to call it? And so we've seen today the strides, the veterinarians that are coming on board, the doctors, Dr. Pelosi, Dr. Lyons, and many, many other doctors, certainly, who are coming on board and understanding and integrating it into their practices. Integrative medicine is a big deal. People who use integrative practices being homeopathic in addition to their regular methods of medication, to marry those together, and the results many people are seeing are incredible. So it's an exciting time for me to have seen it come this far, and it's almost changing daily. I mean, there's somebody new that pops up, doctor from Mexico. I found out about him on Friday and started talking and getting some information as to what he did in these types of flu types of situations and how people can utilize it. So it just every day, and literally every day something comes up or somebody wants to talk about it or how they can do it. And that's one of the things that we're doing with Dr. Amanda is we're working to put some studies together. We're working to work with doctors and with practitioners who are doing things. Keep your records in this fashion. So when we make when somebody has an anecdotal type of thing, or if we want to go to, for example, we've got some people talking, we're in some colleges around the country in their veterinary departments, and a lot of medicine comes from the veterinary departments because they can do more experimentation in the animal world more readily and easier than we can on the human side. But we've begun some conversations with Purdue University to bring it into their veterinary program. They're very excited about it. They're using machine now. They're learning about it and getting into it and seeing what other people, Mooresville College is a college that is using it, and there are others. And so it's just, again, just to see that stuff developing. If you get into Purdue and you get into veterinary, can you walk across campus? And of course, the colleges, University of Kentucky is now using our equipment for their football team. That'll move into their basketball, actually their athletic department, and that's happening. And certainly the professional football teams and baseball teams. I was with the Miami Marlins last week, got a chance to visit with Donnie Mattingly, who is their manager, who's from my hometown. I know his sister very well, never really got a chance to meet Don, but I spent some time with him last week, and that was fun. And but we see these professional teams adapting this and utilizing this, and their doctors. Dr. Lubbenhausen from Louisville, Kentucky, when I was with the Cincinnati Reds in Phoenix last year, was there, and I was scared to death. And I'm going to explain this thing, and Doc's here, and he's going to question, but he was very pleased with my presentation, asked some questions, got his questions answered, and in a sense endorsed it, and they're using it in the Reds organization. And so we're seeing those kind of things happen, and that's exciting as hell, frankly, and a lot of fun to deal with it and learn from it every day. If you have some questions, if you want to talk on Castbox, or if you want to put it into, let's see if there's any chat on Castbox. I haven't looked at, nope, that chat box on Castbox is, let's see here. Let's see here. Can C60 be given to small animals? Yes. You simply would I would do the dropper farm, and I would put it, you can put it in their mouth, or you could put a little bit on a piece of bread and have them consume it. C60, basically, the quick story of C60 is it is basically an industrial lubricant. And they were using it in factories in various places, and they got to asking questions. These people are using this, and they're handling it, and they're breathing it, and ingesting it in some fashion. Is it going to be dangerous to our employees and the people that are handling this lubricant? So they started doing research on mice to see how much C60 would take to kill the mice. And they kept increasing the dosage, and the mice kept living longer and becoming healthier. And so they started doing some research into it. And again, it's in its infancy, but they found that the C60 seems to help the telomeres of the body, which is where our age is determined, the length of the telomeres, the ends of the telomeres, how they function and enhance our body's health. And C60 seems to make them healthier, longer in the genetic strand of the body. And so when I took it for my first time, Max told me to take this stuff. So I started taking 3 droppers in the morning, 3 droppers in the afternoon, and for about 6 months. And my physical came up, and I went to my physical, and my doctor said, "What are you doing?" I said, "What are you talking about?" "Well, your blood works better than it's been in 10 years. And the only thing I did differently was taking the C60, which I have continued to do. I take it every day, twice a day. And so for the small animals, yes, you can put it, quite often they'll put it on a cracker or something and a treat and give it in that fashion. And the health benefits that people have experienced and are sharing with the integrative type of supplements that are available are pretty interesting to learn from and see. Of course, we make no claims, and you need to see your doctor before you do anything, but it's certainly there, and people have used it. Let's see. Dawn asked a question. I just started giving to my dog, and Fran has been giving to his dog. I MagnaWave the dog and thyroid improved and don't know if it was combo or the C60. I would have to think that it would be the combo. I mean, everything can help. And that's what we talk about with complementary therapies at this point in time, with the viruses that we're dealing with you as practitioners, how to talk to your customers, and we want to help you do that. But the heat aspect, the thyroid aspect, the helping the congestion in the lungs, all this type of stuff in conjunction with the medications, the supplements of D3 and vitamin C, whether it's intravenous or pill. There is a lot of documentation that intravenous vitamin C is shown to be very effective in cancerous type of situations, in people that are suffering from immune type of diseases, to help their health and to move things along in that type of situation. So certainly, I'm a big combo type of person. If one thing helps and this helps and we do them together and we get the result we're looking for, I don't care. I just want the result. I want the health and wellness to be there as rapidly as possible. I've always been one to talk about, let's get ahead of the pain. Let's get ahead of the problem. If you treat a broken knee before it gets a chance to become inflamed, you're going to help the situation, because the inflammation then causes a much debilitating factor and hinders the healing as much as the break in many cases. And so complementary is good, and complementary works in many, many cases. Let's see here if there's another question. Okay. My own personal competition horse separated her scapula in the beginning of September 2019, wondering if you have ever treated a horse with a separated scapula. I'm not sure if I should treat for a longer period of time on a lower setting or on a higher setting. She has a Pulse Pro. Well, certainly in any of these types of situations, with bone type of situations, separation, breaks, we've noticed in animals, in dogs with hip dysplasia, where the hip becomes out of socket, out of place, and we can reduce the inflammation. It can kind of come in place and potentially help the animals without necessarily needing surgery. Certainly, I would look at using this in that situation. Have we treated scapula injuries in people and other animals? Most certainly. Now, each injury is different. I would start on a moderate setting, and I would do it for 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes over the area. I would do it as often as possible. If you could do it every day, great. If you can do it 3 times a week, fine. If you can do it twice a week, okay. If you can only do it once a week, do it once a week. And you might treat a little longer. You might treat twice in one sitting if you can. I always talk about a 4 to 6 hour separation, but in theory, if you treated now and you waited an hour and came back and re-energized again, not going to be detrimental. And so you can approach those types of situations like that. So certainly, again, getting ahead of it is important, but I would start moderate, and then I would do it for 10 or 15 minute period of time as often as possible. If you, as things went along and the animal was becoming comfortable, or the person or the small animal was becoming comfortable, and you could ramp up the energy a little bit, that it did not cause discomfort, ramp it up a little bit. Comfort is the key. Anytime you're using any type of therapy like this, if you're using light therapy, LEDs, they get hot. Some LEDs can only be used for a minute. Others can be used for 20 minutes. So you just need to know what these particular parameters are. But to start moderate and go for 10 or 15 minutes, you can hardly go wrong. But you can continue to. That's the nice thing about what we have with this PEMF equipment, is we can change the energy. You can call it intensity, you can call it whatever you want, but what we're trying to do is put massive amounts of energy, or as much energy as we can, into the body comfortably. And comfort is certainly the key. I learned the hard way. I would treat a woman's back and she'd say, "Oh, that's plenty. That's enough. Stop," and I'd stop. But I'd treat a guy and he'd sit there and say, "Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah, more, give me more." And so you could, just like a deep tissue massage, give them too much energy to where they're a little uncomfortable for a day, and then they feel fine. We don't need to do that. So comfort is the key with our therapy and the equipment that we're using and how we apply it. So that'd be my recommendation for that type of situation with the Pulse Pro. Let's see if we've had any. Someone could have sent me a text. No one wants to talk to me today. Doggone it. But that's okay. I did. Emily talked to me. And a couple of people have offered to talk to me on Castbox, but I wasn't able to connect to them. So if somebody would like to visit and have a conversation, be happy to do that. If I can answer your question in that fashion, we'll do that. We're at 9:50. We've been here now for about 50 minutes. I will stay for a little longer if you have questions. If not, we'll be back. Elaine will be here on Friday. Again, Elaine, Dr. Myers will be here on Friday at 2 o'clock Eastern time to answer questions and discuss keeping yourself healthy and how you can work with your clients and to help them be healthier utilizing our fine MagnaWave PEMF therapy devices. And certainly, so tune into that, and we look forward to having you there with us at that time. Let's see if there's anything else I'm missing. You talked about, the red light for fat deposits on dogs. Can you tell me what brand or send me the right direction? Sure, Dawn. I'm trying to figure out how to do this. If you will reach out to Lee at the office, that's 888 MagnaWave, and she will contact me, and I will get you the link or the information on that particular red light device that I have used and that I would recommend. It's a very high power device. You only use it for about a minute per location. And it's about the size. It's a little bigger than my phone here, but it's really incredible. And it's one of the things that we've talked about making available for our practitioners and people to use in conjunction with what we're doing. And if you, again, contact Lee. Lee will get to me. I'm in Florida. Can't leave at this point in time. We don't know. We're struggling with this. When do we go home? We're ready to go home. My wife's ready to go home, and but we're kind of stuck here. And as to what's the best time to go where, people tell me, well, you're in Florida, stay there. Well, that's true. But, you want to be with your family and you want to see and all that kind of good stuff. So anyway, there you go. Let's see if there's anybody else. Nope, it looks like things have kind of slowed down question-wise on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. If there's anybody on Castbox, the Castbox numbers are growing, and we're certainly thankful for that. People who are listening to us on Castbox. I keep threatening, and I really want to do this, but I want to have at least a couple of days a week, an afternoon program on Castbox about health hacking and PEMF and talk with doctors around the country who have used their therapies in association with the MagnaWave type of therapy and that whole thing. And also just talk about health hacking in general. There's, I've now done 2 books. My first book was The Happy Brain, where we talked about brain health, and there were 32 doctors and 4 general practitioners, of which I was one of, who contributed to the book, became an international bestseller on brain health. And we talked about everything from depression to strokes to all this type of stuff. And I had a chapter in the book, and that was exciting. And my second one with this group is due out this summer, and it's called Miracles. And I struggle with the term miracle because we don't like to say that our device is a miracle. I don't agree with somebody saying, "Oh, this is a miracle situation." But to individuals who have experienced things that have happened in their life and real turnarounds with their health and wellness, often call their changes or their results miraculous. And so I was asked to participate in that book. And I talked about a couple of things pretty personal. My own condition, my wife's condition that she came through with her aneurysm and her heart situation, and how we utilize the therapy. And to us, that was miraculous on what happened. And I talk about some other situations in the book. So that's coming. It'll be out this summer. So I'm looking forward to that, and I want to get these doctors in the book on Castbox, on Facebook, potentially, to talk about their wonderful therapies and what they do in their practice, because we can all learn and grow from people who have done various things. So that's what's going on there. And my other book with Jack Canfield, we're looking for a late summer release on that. That's a book more about business building and helping people start and build their businesses that I've been asked to participate in with Jack Canfield, so I'm excited about that, and that's a lot of fun to be working with him. You know, Jack Canfield wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul. He's a MagnaWave user, and he's gotten tremendous results with he and his wife utilizing the MagnaWave for their various situations that they have. So it's great to do that. I'm excited about participating with that. Let's see, Bridget, thank you for loving the Tuesday mornings. How many minutes and days I have the semi. Now, Janice, how do you do ulcers? Okay. Just same question. She has the semi, so it doesn't go as high as the Pulse Pro machines or the Max machines and so forth, but it provides plenty of energy. It'll get up to about 3,000 Gauss depending on the attachment that you're using. Probably averages with the various attachments in the range of 1,000 to 1,500 Gauss on the delivery, which is great in terms of your health. I would say in most situations, utilizing that machine, 10 to 15 minutes is ample. With that machine, can you go 20 to 30 minutes in any one sitting on a comfortable setting? Absolutely. And with that machine, it's easier, it's more comfortable the way the signal is delivered to put it on high and treat someone. Because they will feel it some, but they won't feel it like they do maybe with the Max or the Pulse Pro or the Maya. But the energy is there and it's good. So there is no rule that says, oh, you've got a semi and 3 or a 5 and you have to go for an hour. That's not the case. You want the energy in the body. You want it for at least 10 or 15 minutes that you're doing. Can you go a little longer? Yes. Should you go an hour? You could, but you get to a point that you're not really there. The important thing, because you're putting massive amounts of energy. If you're using lower powered units, like the one that I sleep with in the evening, I use it overnight. Well, it's only 500 Gauss, or in some cases, depending on the setting, 300 Gauss. But I'm getting that amount of energy throughout the evening. Now, again, I'm moving it from location to location. I set it on a different setting each night, so my body doesn't get used to one of the settings. I have 3 different settings that I use, and I alternate them. I stagger them. Sometimes I'll do the same setting for 2 nights. But getting back to your question, how long? That would be my recommendation. Dealing with ulcers, you certainly want to treat the area of the gut to help to get good blood circulation there, to enhance the blood circulation so the body can better heal itself with the improved blood flow and blood oxygenation and blood circulation. If you're giving them a supplement for that situation, this can enhance potentially the use of that supplement and how it helps the body. Great question. Thanks for happening. Hope that helps. Let's see, anybody else? Wow, it's been a interesting time. 9:58. We've been here for almost an hour. I'm sorry I didn't get to talk with anybody this morning, but that's okay. I just keep rambling and answering questions that I see and questions that people certainly post. Listen, during this time, there's a lot of uncertainty in what's going on. If you're a practitioner and you want to talk about things that you can do to nurture your business along during this period of time, I'm happy to do that personally. Certainly, Elaine is going to approach that. You can call the office and talk with Aaron, talk with Chris in the marketing department about various things that we're doing. We are, as I said, we're looking to expand as necessary some of the products that we offer to give you a better bailiwick of things to offer to your customers. I mean, it's important today I remember back, there was a time when I was selling a hyaluronic acid product and I was just starting my business, and the combination of the 2 products allowed me to be comfortable, allowed me to continue to grow in that type situation. And we certainly want to help you in that regard. Stay positive, use your equipment, be confident about what you talk about, what your equipment can do, and help people be healthier, help them have their immune system not be compromised with good oxygenation, good blood flow. It's out there. A lot of people are talking about it. Research it, talk with us, watch Dr. Amanda on Friday. So that's what it's about, and stay positive and keep going. That's all we can do. I remember in 2009 when the economy went to pieces and I thought I was done. And we changed our pricing a little bit. We changed how we worked with our customers somewhat. And you can do the same thing today with your equipment, how to utilize it, and other things that you're offering to your clients. They trust you. They know you're good. They like what you're doing. You believe in what you're doing. So it's an opportune time to just simply offer more, offer something additional, offer a different way to help them out so they can reach the consequence that they're looking for. That's the key. And that's what I encourage you to do. And if I can help in any way, I'm here. Would love to talk with you about it if I can help out. So 10 o'clock, we've been here for an hour. Thank you for joining me, Chris and the crew, Emily, everybody scattered all over the place. There's nobody in our office building. Well, there might be, somebody might be in and out there, they can come if they need to be there. And but they're spread all over, working from home, and it's working very well. We appreciate you as our customers, as our practitioners, as those wanting to learn more. Thank you so much for wanting to learn more and being with me today. So we'll be back next Tuesday. Thank you again. Have a great day, and wave on to better health and wellness.